Hey there. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. I'll say that again. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast. Oh, yep, with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. Now it's time for the Big Bad Broadcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Well, it's good Friday afternoon there. Oh, this guy is a legend at his work. When you watch that clip for the second time, there's a woman actually writing on the blackboard, trying to ignore the whole thing.
I thought she was just erasing his name from the.
Kind of amazing. But boy, can you imagine people in the office talking about that for weeks?
Are you kidding? That's not your typical way to quit. What happened to the old standby? Just taking a dump on the boss's desk.
That's only when you win the lottery. All right, but before we get started, before I introduce everybody, I have to look in the magic birthday mirror because there's somebody's birthday today, and I think it's Mike Grief. So, Mike, in honor of your birthday, I wrote you a few limericks.
Oh.
There once was a comedian named Mike who told everyone he rode a bike. He was actually a gentle guy. At a movie, he would cry. His entire persona. Erase the last word.
See, that's not good.
His entire persona was a psych. Mike Grief always looked kind of gruff. He wanted people to think he was tough, but he had a heart of gold. Busted my balls about being old. His tough guy was just fluff.
Oh, jeez. Hey, I ain't fluffing nothing, John. Wait. Let's do limericks. You want to do limericks? I have one I wrote to my own, not about anything, but there once was a man named Fred. One day he got hit in the head. When he woke up, he felt fresh as a pup, but then he found out he was dead.
Hey, I have a song. I wrote for Mike's birthday.
Very uplifting,
Mike, here's your song. You ready?
Put us in even boxes, Craig. I feel so small.
No, here's your song. You ready? You want me to be bigger? Oh, even boxes. Sorry,
even boxes. Yeah.
All right, here's my song for Mike's birthday. Here it is. Hold on. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. I didn't have a lot of time to write it. I'm sorry.
Don't make me break into the birthday medley. We'll be here till the guest comes in.
We don't have enough time. We only have
Jan's never gotten the birthday medley yet.
I don't know if the decibels.
No. What is that? I'm afraid to ask.
I have an 8-minute birthday song I sing at your birthday
every year.
Every year.
And again on my
it gets longer and it gets longer every year. No, I just call and leave it in a voicemail.
I got you a fish, Mike.
Oh man, you know what? I was just thinking, God, I wish I had a fish.
All right, we've got totally off track. Let me introduce everybody on the show.
I got my stuff. This is for you.
We have the very talented, funny Jan Karen.
Yay!
Yay!
And we have Craig Yoda Mitchell, our IT guy around town, does everything. And by the way, Craig, the website will be updated by the end of the day with Jan's stuff. We have Joe Silky, our animator, psychic, Photoshop guy who has no screeners but Amazon Prime. And we have Mike Grief, the birthday boy.
Yay! Happy birthday to ya! Happy
Jen.
birthday.
They say it's your birthday.
Oh,
No,
I can't
stop. Somebody stop him before he sings again.
Our guest will leave.
As a birthday present, John, please don't sing.
I wrote a new verse. I have a new one. If everybody had a birthday across the USA, then today it wouldn't be special. But it's your special day, so have some fun on your birthday. All right, that's just part of it. All right, so
I want to see what Jan got me. Jan said she got me something and held something up. What was that?
That's a kitty. I'm going to give you kitty.
Perfect for you, Mike.
I'm sorry, Jan. I'm married. I can't take
right,
your kitty. I can't take your kitty. I'm married, Jan.
You cleaned that up. You cleaned that up, didn't you?
Here we go. All right, so look, let's talk about this
Thank you,
video.
Jan. That's very sweet.
Have any of you guys had a job?
It's a virtual gift. Sorry.
Has anyone had a job that they quit like really bizarrely, like that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Can it
actually.
just getting fired count?
Yeah, getting fired certainly counts. Yeah.
Because Oh, okay. Who's going first? Or okay,
I
one.
You should.
When I was after high school, I was working in deli departments because in the deli department that was considered skilled labor.
But it wasn't the new deli department, was it?
So you got like extra money, like $1 an hour extra, which was a lot of money when you were in college, especially back in the 20s. And I've said it before Mike did. And anyway, so I was working at Woolbaum's, which is this Jewish grocery store, I guess, on Long Island. I was working in the deli, and I worked with this guy, Nat Pincus, who was this little Jewish man who was the funniest person in the world. He would say, he was the manager, and he would say, if somebody says something to you and you don't like it, if you sing a song, people don't listen to lyrics in songs. So this lady would be like hitting her kid in front of the deli counter, and he'd be cutting meat, and he'd go, hey, you vicious bitch, go take your kid down in dairy and beat the shit out of him there. Right? It's like singing. He was like 90 years old. And then he'd go like this, and he had every deli line in the world. Someone would come in and they go, hey, Nat, is the roast beef rare? He goes, rare. It's the only one in the store. I go, is the ham lean? Lean. It just leaned over and died.
Oy.
He was like a pun guy.
He was really funny. He goes, is the potato salad fresh? He looks both ways. He goes, I bent over. It pinched me on the tuchus. So he leaves me in charge so he can go to lunch. And this woman comes in and goes, I'll have a 1/16 of a pound of ham. Slice it thin. I'm thinking, I got to cut it with a laser, you know? So I cut it and I weigh it.
But you got that extra $1 an hour to be able to do that. You know?
I go, it's a little over the one slice. And she goes, oh, that's okay. I want 1/8 of a pound of pastrami and like all this stuff. And finally, I was getting more and more pissed. Finally, she asked for something. I took off the apron. I threw it on the counter. And I go, listen, lady, if you want it that thin, you get back here and cut the shit yourself because I'm out of here.
Wow.
And as I'm leaving, they page Nat Pincus, and he comes up to me and goes, what did you do? I go, I told that lady basically to screw off. He goes, that was Mrs. Waldbaum. And you didn't do quality control. And he got me my job back, believe it or not.
Wow.
See, but if you would have sang it to Mrs. Waldbaum, she wouldn't have cared.
I know, exactly. Yeah. I broke the cardinal rule.
You broke the cardinal. You didn't sing.
I gave Mr. A&P the finger once.
Oh.
There you go.
No, I just made it up.
Yeah, I figured that.
Well, who's next with their bad?
What was that? No, go.
Who wants to go?
Whatever.
Go.
All right, yeah. Are we doing a bad job or a job you quit like that? Because I got them both. Here's my bad job. Being an actor, and I guess everyone is you always find these survival jobs that you do to eat, well, whatever. So, one of them, I was working security downtown Los Angeles in a Spring and Third in a building there, and it was right down the street from this kind of concho bar, this Mexican Western. I mean, these guys all dressed up like cowboys, and they would just get ripped out. My job basically was to make sure at 2, 3, whatever it was in the morning, that these guys wouldn't piss and shit on the building. I mean, there's a really, and you know what? I felt bad for the guy because there was a service that you call when they did, because you couldn't catch them all the time. that you call, and they would come and clean it up. So that was the worst job to me. You know, I had to babysit these guys. They had to come and clean it up. But as far as a job, that quitting, I drove for UPS. I mean, I was a trainee. I started driving to UPS, and it was really a rugged time in my life. There was a lot of stuff going on, and middle of the day, I decided that I did not enjoy this job any longer, and I took the truck back in the middle of the day. And the supervisor said, "Listen, can't you just at least deliver the rest of the?" And I just basically said, "You want the packages over?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "Deliver yourself, you bug." And then I just walked out.
Greg always wanted that job. He wanted to be the king of Queens.
But he wound up being the queen of Queens. Hey, all right, here we go.
You know, I should, you know, and if I was, you know, don't mess with me, because I had a job in Westbury, Long Island. I worked for Friendly Frost. You guys know what that is?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's an appliance store.
Oh, was that?
What is that?
An appliance store.
Yeah, an appliance store, and also they had a garden center. And I had a tough day, and I argued with the assistant manager. And back then I used to smoke. And I went, we had a big argument right by the front gate, and they have two booths where the people check out, and they have garbage cans on the booth. And I went, you know what? Take this job and shove it up your ass. You. And I was smoking a cigarette. I flicked my cigarette, but I didn't realize it went into the garbage can. And so I get in my car, and there's a big fire. It just ignited because there's all papers in it. And I'm like, that's a way to quit. Set the place on fire.
That's a way to quit with an arson charge.
You know what? In my mind, I drove off. I was like, gave him the finger, but I actually ran back, pulled out the garbage can, and helped him out.
You were Al Pacino for 5 minutes there. If I was younger, I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
Awesome.
I love when you can quit like it's a scene in a movie, you know, and not have consequences. Just like, like the guy with the band or the fire. Or
just like, hand burns. That's all I had.
Take your job and shove it. Yeah. I got well, I just want to say that because I never have the courage to stand up, I'll just take abuse. I don't quit.
Really?
I wait to get fired.
And you're still single?
You just got Mike excited. Mike's all excited now.
Wait. Okay.
Willing to take abuse and she's single. I love her.
Yeah. Well,
not according to that article. Not according to that article I sent her. How Jan deals with her husband. How Jan deals with her husband because she's worth $700,000.
Does it say that 700,000?
Yeah.
Gosh, you guys are like up in the millions, right? I get 700,000
calories.
It's more about how you deal with your husband. Euros. It's more how you deal with your husband on the article.
Oh, I have a husband?
Yeah, that's what it said.
Okay, I got to have the nerve to open it. I know you said the link. But I got fired from the Carol Burnett show, the last incarnation of the Carol Burnett show. And so it was they only did like 4 episodes, but Rick Aviles, who passed away, he's comic from New York. You guys
love Rick Aviles.
Right?
Sure.
Great guy. Yeah. And we were more like not the ethnic people, kind of, which, you know, because everyone else was like more the white. Well, it was Richard Kind and whoever. It doesn't matter. But there was a scene. It's like I was selected to be the ingenue because they had different character types. And then and I met with Carol Burnett. And then she picked me. So it was great. It was, but I never got in any sketches. And then I was in this one sketch as a cigarette girl with this really short, like a cigarette girl outfit, and with fishnets and like carrying a cigarette thing. And then
you have the outfit. Can you wear it next week?
Yeah, I'll wear it next week. Yeah. Oh, it's at wardrobe.
You guys.
I know you guys. Stop.
At least I didn't say it out loud.
Going short.
You only thought it, Mike.
Me too. I don't mean it. But me too. Don't forget me. Now that I'm older, it's like, hello, me too. Just kidding, ladies.
That's very funny.
But anyway, so I was wearing the thing, and I noticed like the crew. And I shouldn't say anything, but Carol Burnett was in a wheelchair, like as a character, looking across at me in the thing, in the little outfit. The crew guys looking at me and stuff, and all I know is, and it was like this. And all I know is the next day, Rick and I were fired. And it was in the Star, too. It said fired. So they said it's because they wanted to make it appeal to more middle America and that we were like not the blonde types, which is racist, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even. So anyway, that's I didn't quit, but I got fired.
Holy shit.
So, yeah. Is that funny or sad or? Okay.
I'm boycotting the Carol Burnett show now.
Yeah, right.
To these guys, it's arousing and sad.
Yeah.
To these guys.
Maybe she was just jealous.
Wait,
Yeah, I don't know. It was like a weird, like,
Maybe she was just jealous.
I feel like Lenny from Mice and Men. Tell
but
about
that's
the
the
outfit,
thing about
Jan.
like women.
Tell us about the outfit.
That's the thing about women.
See, now Joe never got fired, did you, Joe?
Yeah, I did.
That's why you read silent.
did.
But wait, we were talking about bad jobs, okay?
Yes.
All right.
My uncles owned a private sanitation company.
And
So, well, anyway, actually,
Joe, I
Billy
apologize
Hines
for
worked
anything
for
I
my
ever said to you.
Billy Hines worked for my uncles.
Oh yeah, Billy.
Oh wait, don't do the music.
I'm not doing music.
They are.
You were.
They are.
So anyway, because I was a fine arts major, they decided that, my uncle called me up and said, hey, you want to come and help? You can work out in the welding shop and do some painting and stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay. So my job was to, the dumpsters, those big dumpsters that people throw stuff in, and they were refurbishing them. My
Big
job was I
Baddies.
had to go inside the dumpster with like this scraper and scrape God knows what off the
Oh God!
Brains, bones. Yeah.
I
and
feel
then
so
I got
much
to
better
paint
about
it,
myself.
which is, it was like
Oh,
He's an artist. Are you a painter? Yeah, come paint this dumpster.
I think
So
worked
funny.
I worked for your uncles, Joe. I worked for in the we bury guys over here department.
All I can tell you about Joe's uncle is my dad once had a big fire in his house in the basement, and the county came and gave him a dumpster that was like this little teeny thing. My father goes, that's not big enough. So I called Joe. Joe called his uncle, and about an hour later, this dumpster the size of the driveway arrived at my father's house, and they took the other one and they threw it in the road. And my father goes, what are you doing? And he goes, Monty said it's okay. They go, oh, okay, no problem.
wow. He said it's okay. Oh, okay.
And so then I quit a job. I was working in K&B Toy and Hobby.
Oh man.
When and a friend of mine was opening a store upstate, and he wanted me to come up and do the grand opening as a clown because I was doing clowning back then. And so I said to my boss, I said, I take this weekend off, and he goes, well, you really should think about your priorities and what's coming up and everything. And, and I said, you're right. I mean, this guy's been my friend for like 20 years. It's the priorities with him. I'm quitting.
Yeah, good for you.
I did it over the phone, but somebody actually took photos of me quitting my job.
Oh wow.
Nice.
That's good though. Sometimes you got to
Could be a
make those
major
hard
motion
decisions.
picture.
I hope you did it quicker than you told the story.
Oh, all I know is everything I ever did or quit, I regret. So nothing turns. It seems like it comes back to bite you.
Speaking of which, our guest is ready to come in now, I believe.
Yes.
Yay! Speaking of quitting, let's quit this conversation. Is that what you mean?
He just quit the show.
No.
All right, so we have an amazing guest for you. And I'm going to turn the show over to Craig Yoda Mitchell, and he can do the intros and enjoy.
Take it away, Craigie.
Hey, I'm really excited about our guest today. We're in for a treat. Now, this man is an actor who's been working for years, and he does it all: stage, film, TV shows, birthday parties. No, I'm kidding about the No, he's wonderfully talented. I mean, he's somebody who I've admired for years. I was lucky enough to meet him when I took his course called The Inner Game of Acting, and I got to study with him. And he's really terrific. and I'm going to bring him in, and I'm going to tell him how he actually got on the show. So please welcome a very talented actor, Mr. Bill Smitrovich. Let's hear it, Paul.
Hey.
I look so fucking old, don't I?
You're beautiful.
Bill, I wanted to share a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if it was a meeting or whether we were doing a show. We started talking about the movie Ted, and your scene that you did in the movie actually came up. I said, I know, Bill. And I just want to share that scene so you know this is the scene that led to you being on the show today.
Don't worry, I'll do my very best to get this job that I so crave.
So you think you got what it takes?
I'll tell you what I got. Your wife's pussy on my breath.
Nobody's ever talked to me like that before.
That's because everyone's mouth is usually full of your wife's box.
You're hired.
Shit.
Welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast, Bill.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Oh, we had, the best memory from that, it was fun to be on the set and to go to Boston and do the whole thing and then to do another one. But they didn't go anywhere with the character. I was dancing at the wedding, and that was about it for the second one. But the audition was worth remembering. I went up there, and I see. I saw a couple of Bentleys, a couple of Rolls Royces. Walked through the garage, go upstairs to the 11th floor. It's on Sunset Boulevard. Wahlberg's there, but he's not in the audition. The casting director, sorry, I can't remember your name right now if you're watching. So she calls me in, and Seth's in there, camera operator. And I just said, before I went in, I said, I'm just going to do absolutely nothing.
There you go.
And he was, I could feel him going like this. and I stopped, and I got, I just kind of. And so he goes, he starts laughing, and I said, great, really nice to meet you. Boom. And I walk out, and the casting director comes chasing after me, and she says, oh, wait a minute. Seth wants to talk to you. I said, great. All right, okay, so we go back. I said, what, does he have a contract? So I walk in, and he looks at me, he goes, that was the funniest audition I've had in a long time. If I had a contract right now, I would give it to you and you would sign it.
Wow.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So you're offering me the role? But anyway, yeah, he did. And, and then later on, he said the only reason why you're in the second one is because the reaction that Sheen got in the first one, I couldn't keep you out of it. I had to put you in there somewhere.
That was great.
It's like a fucking shoe he had to put his foot in. No, it was fun. We had a great time. I loved it. And it's a funny movie. The first
That's
one.
right. I thought you were going to say when you did nothing that he was going to say and just go, can you pull it back a little bit?
Yeah. Let's do another one.
Yeah.
How did you think to do that? I don't want to interrupt, but how did you think to do that?
Well, I figured that this bear is going to say,
which is so bizarre just to even think that.
Yeah, I know.
Anything he fucking wants, right? I don't know what he's going to do. So I just, this guy's an idiot. My character is basically an idiot. And so some of it was written, and I knew that anybody that's going to take this, he's in another world. So so sure enough, we get there, and now there's a second scene. I'm in an office, but it's the next day, and we're in a walk down place off somewhere in Boston, off the street, one room. He bought one room to do this one scene. Everybody's rushing. Let's go, let's get it done. So it took about an hour and a half. But he sat in the other room, and I couldn't see him. All I was looking at was, I think they put the bear in the chair, maybe just an X at that point. So I'm looking at the X, and he's saying anything he wants to say, and I'm saying, "You're hired." And he was saying shit that you could not believe. He was doing the different voices. He was going, yeah, your mother had fucking black toenails, right? Or
Jesus. That's why you get that paid that extra that plus 10, man. To have to put up with that stuff.
Yeah, I found a picture on the interwebs of you doing something really nasty with Ted too. So. So you had your fun as well. I know that, but I was going to ask you: Did you read? Did they put a stuffed bear there for you to read to? I was wondering, or it was just a green thing or whatever.
No, only when his shoulder was in the shot or something they put him in.
I got you.
And at one point, they didn't know. And Seth threw like a glass of water in my face when he said, "I'm out of here," and the bear. They're supposed to. I'm not hired. I'm quitting or something like that. And he takes the water and he throws it in my face. I thought it was funny.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So I mean, so I was thinking back, looking at your career, man, and it's like like I said, I've been a fan way before I met you, and I think the first thing I remember seeing you in was Crime Story. I was wondering, and that's so popular. It's got a huge. I mean, Mike is a big fan of that, I'm sure.
Actually, you might know my buddy Tony Dennison. Obviously, if you're on that show, Tony he's a good old friend of mine.
Tony, okay, we play. We have this poker game at this man's house, Norby Walters, who was an agent for many singing groups and music stars and actors. He has a poker game. He has about 8 or 9 people there, but they're all like top. It's great. Charles Durning, George, he just died recently. George Siegel, Rod Steiger would play in it. Ned Asner, so many great people. Elliot Gould and Robert Wall, and he had this running poker game. It was just $1 or $2 game, but he had it running for like years. And let's study this because I'm a poker fan. Are you a poker fan? You know what a royal flush is, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is how long the poker game was going on. He had about 12 framed photographs of somebody holding up a royal flush. And everybody around him, and the people in the photograph are, astounding. And men and women, all kinds of people, stars, it was great.
Yeah,
cool.
all the stars. That's pretty cool to be a part
I remember
of
when
that.
I first moved to LA, we used to have a barbecue at Tony's house. We was like up in the hills in Studio City somewhere, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago, but we
never
used to
got
have
invited to those.
No. There was a reason, Bill. I'm not going to go.
Tony and I were friends. We were friends. Friends. And one day he says to me, "Hey, I put you on pause."
Oh, really? Is that true?
Yeah, I said, "Oh, really? No kidding." Well, how about this for your scratchy fucking record? You one-note motherfucker.
Hey, that could go with the not quitting.
That's the name of my new play. You one-note motherfucker. That's my new play.
Bill, didn't you say you had a job about either a terrible job or about quitting a job or something?
Oh God, yeah, I've had them. I was a private detective for a week.
Wow.
Yeah, it was horrible. I had to chase divorced guys or their women or the men. Divorced women would hire the detective to chase after their men to see that they were cheating on with another woman. And it was, I'd go
like Chinatown.
Like insurance photos. Finding somebody that was lifting a heavy package that had filed an insurance claim. Really smart.
Wow.
The funniest thing.
Somebody's got to turn that
I
on.
had a 65 Chevy, and I bought it for $125. It was during college, and it got hit in the back, and that's why I got the car, because the back was shaped like a T, and the trunk wouldn't close, so it'd go.
It's like my car now.
I was good at following people, they never guessed.
Those jobs that sound like they're fun, like taking dirty pictures of cheaters, or like a job actually as a bouncer in a strip bar, which is a terrible job because you think it would be fun, but no, it's babysitting guys, making sure they're not sitting there oogling, that they're also drinking.
Yeah. And their hands are where you can see them.
Yeah, that's it exactly.
I've never been a private detective, but I have been mistaken for Nero Wolfe several times. That's great.
You did a lot of TV, like detective shows and stuff, like NYPD Blue and CSI and
the pilot. The pilot got me started on TV, and I was very lucky. Started my stage career with Arthur Miller and started my TV and film career with Michael Mann.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was real lucky. And that's when I quit my first straight job that I really, really dug. I was a bartender at the River Cafe in Brooklyn. And the River Cafe is under the Brooklyn Bridge on the Brooklyn side. So it's just gorgeous. And I helped place up. Yeah. Yes. Oh, it's unbelievable. We had guys, Tony Seltzer, Bobby Seltzer. Seltzer coming in, hey, come here. You're listening to me.
Oh, God, all the
time. Everything with those guys was so dramatic. I love it.
Okay, this is for you. Take care of me, right? $100 bill every night. Every time you saw Bobby, like the waiters would rush to the entrance. Hey, Bobby, how are you, Bobby? Hey.
Everything's always like a big secret.
Unbelievable. But we, it was such a great bar. But anyway, because I had the skyline in back of me, and Statue of Liberty, and the Staten Island Ferry. And a sunset. You go for a drink. You may pay $20 for it, but it's going to be a good drink.
Yeah. A small drink, but
got nice ambience over there.
It's such a romantic. It's the most romantic restaurant in New York City. Absolutely, bar none.
Have you been back?
Pardon me?
Have you been back to the restaurant?
I hadn't been back in many, many years. Who also worked there was Dom Herrera.
Wow.
I love Dom.
We were just talking.
Dom was a valet there when I worked there.
Hey, you think I'd be right back with your car? You think I'd be right back?
Hey, I'm going to be right back.
I'm sure he does bits.
What's in your fluoride, whatever.
We went to college together. She's a beauty. Lisa Mende was her name.
Oh yeah.
You know Lisa?
Yeah, we do, from comedy from New York.
Lisa's funny and great. And we went to the University of Bridgeport together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Lisa did the baby. Don't you come and see the baby? Remember the Seinfeld episode?
Another interesting connection too is John's daughter Lindsay is a very successful scriptwriter, playwright, screenwriter, and she has a play, a very famous play called Amy and the Orphans, which centers around, I believe it's a woman, a girl with Down syndrome, right? Right, and you, of course, one of the, you were on Life Goes On, which featured Corky, who brought all that to the forefront in the early '90s. I was wondering if you could explain a little bit of your experience with that. And are you still in touch with? Forgive me, I didn't look up the name of the actor who played Corky.
Chris Burke. Okay. And yes, I am. I called him last Thanksgiving and over the Christmas holidays. He's about 50. I guess he's about 55 now or 54.
Wow.
And his mother is 99.
Wow.
And she lives close to him. And he's doing great. You know, they are very, very great family, the Burkes. And Marion had Chris when she was in her mid-40s, and they wanted to take the baby away in those days. You know, we can, we can take this baby for you, Mrs. Burke. You know, you don't have to. And she said, over my dead body.
Good for her.
Took him out of there, and he was astounding. I mean, even when we started this, let me just tell you one just beautiful story about Chris. When we were doing the first reading, the story had him in high school trying to transition to mainstream education, and somebody was cheating off him, but he got accused of cheating, and they were supposed to be reading The Raven, Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. So we were sitting around and we're reading the script, and he gets to the point where the principal, Gloria Gifford, says to him, do you know the poem? And he said, yes, I do. At that moment, Chris closes his book and recites the poem.
Wow.
That was the first reading.
Wow.
And I was, forget it. You could have picked me up with a sponge.
I have a story that's very similar to that. My daughter's show called Amy and the Orphan.
Yes.
It's the first Broadway show where the lead actor has Down syndrome, and she wanted to use her real Down syndrome. And there's a monologue at the end where she's on stage for a 15-minute monologue. And, but so she figured it was a lot of work. So she wanted to have two versions of the show, Amy and the Orphan, and then Andy and the Orphan, and wanted to cast the male part. So we met this guy who was in a couple of movies with Johnny Knoxville, Eddie Bartonelli. And we went to see Eddie, and he was just a character, him and his mother. He was just a character. And my daughter loved him, and my daughter's going, he's so funny, And so he goes, aren't I getting the way he talks? Aren't I going to have an audition? and my daughter goes, well, I love you, I think you're perfect. He goes, I have to audition. So he goes, how about some Shakespeare? and he stood up and did this amazing Shakespeare reading in the middle of this diner, and he got done, and the whole diner just started clapping. And then he goes like this. He goes, no autographs, please. he's just a character, and they all went, that's the guy from The Ringer. That's the guy from The Ringer. And they all knew who he was. It was really, and we had him on the show. He's just a lovely guy and just so funny. It's really something special, like you said.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. It's the most gratifying job I've ever had. When I went to University of Bridgeport, I minored in special education. And then when I discovered I was an actor, somebody handed me Lenny of Mice and Men, and I'd never read it before. I read it. It was the first time that I'd wept at a piece of literature in my life. Yeah. And I went in there and I just played the shit out of this guy, and they gave me the role. Long story, just some beautiful stories in between. But guest director and the theater department gave me the Best Actor award that year, and I wasn't even in the theater department. And that's where it all started. It was right there doing that. And years later, when I was a professional actor working in Actors Theater Louisville, doing a food called Food from Trash, where I was playing a garbage man called Sutton Pisanger.
Sutton what?
But,
what was it?
His name was Sutton Pisanger.
Okay.
That's so funny.
My name is Sutton Pisanger.
Sutton. Oh, okay.
But Sutton's a great name. So anyway, that I go back to New York, and that's when things started happening, and Miami Vice and everything. And then he calls me and says, "Would you like to do Lenny again?" And I said, "Wow, yeah." And he said, "How about you do it in Hong Kong?" That's where I got to go to Hong Kong and do the Hong Kong International Arts Festival, and got
love of Mice and Men.
Travel, and I had money. I was making commercials. I was living the.
Oh, nice! Is that when you'd say it first started?
I don't need no fancy food with no ketchup on it. You say the word, Georgia. I'll go up in those hills there.
That's right.
Let me ask you a question. Right now, the way everything is, can a person that isn't mentally challenged play Lenny? I don't think you can anymore.
Oh,
Lenny?
I think you can, because Lenny was just a simpleton. He had been kicked by a horse.
No, you see, you never. There's an old adage in show business. You never cast a schmuck as a schmuck.
Right.
Because a schmuck doesn't know he's a schmuck. And a person with Down syndrome is not going to go, cannot get the creative space and distance needed to create empathy. Theirs is a natural empathy, but they can't just be natural. That character has to act.
Mm.
I
don't think it's a professional show otherwise. I think it's an exercise.
Well, in my daughter's productions of these shows, that was what was talked about, how the actors were actors, and they were amazing. I mean, there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
Right. But there's other reasons why there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
But also, you have to remember too, Lenny didn't have Down syndrome. Lenny had been kicked by a mule or something like that. So I think it would be okay to.
I'm just asking. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, I would think.
No, you're wrong.
Great question.
I could be wrong. I know is every time I talk to my daughter about something, we were talking about Birdcage, and she was saying, "Well, Robin Williams' character couldn't be probably that character anymore."
I totally disagree with that, but that's just.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why that was my question. You know what I mean?
Not racial. That you see, it's not racial or it's not ethnic. It's much more personal than that.
I always thought of Lenny as being more autistic and on the spectrum than being mentally affected that way. But you see here. There's a good example, Craig, because when you get to there are different times through Lenny's acting that he'll exhibit maybe autism, and maybe then he'll exhibit Down syndrome. Yeah. So there's a freedom that comes with playing that people without knowledge of his illness or not illness, but I would say
handicap,
malady, right?
Yeah.
That he has. it's just a different relationship, you know. Yeah. It's a very good question, though. It's very good. It's one that's provocative for sure.
Well, jumping ahead, I want to do something that's
crazy people.
What you just brought your favorite thing over there. When I first met you, when I was taking the class, I said something to you, and you know, people are known for. I mean, your resume speaks for itself, but you know, I can't imagine some of the things people bring to your attention. But I came up to you and I said, Bill, it's a pleasure to meet the man who has the most epic cigar drop in cinematic history. And I'm talking about a scene from Independence Day, and I actually have it here, and I want to show it so people know what I'm referencing. Here we go.
We have incoming. Let me have it, son. You got it. Friendly? Sergeant? I don't think so.
Wow. That's great.
I was watching that yesterday. It was on, you'll be getting residuals. It was on TV yesterday.
But the thing is, it's unusual to be known. You know, I mean, do people come up to you and remember you for different things?
People come up, people look at me and they go,
that's not it.
Or, you know, it's my family was there. I was in Cape Cod, and this checkout girl at a small little store in Cape Cod thought I was her history teacher. And she would not take no for an answer. I said, no, I'm Bill Smitrovich. I mean, no, you're you were my history teacher.
That's right.
I'm telling you, it's like,
oh, wow.
Did you finally have to agree with her?
Yeah. We did.
Just give her an assignment. Get rid of her.
Did you give her a D or an F?
Hey, sometimes it comes in handy. I remember one time I was driving from Vegas and I got pulled over by the the highway patrol, and the guy goes, he goes, where you coming? I was coming from Florida. He goes, where you coming from? I said, Florida. He goes, where you going? Whatever. Told him no, and he's looking at me and he goes, I know you. And he goes, and he had seen me in Home Improvement, the show, and it was like, and so I got away with a warning. But you know, sometimes it pays to get recognized.
Oh man, I taken a trip from Chicago to Las Vegas. My wife was pregnant with our first child, and so we got to Arizona. And I have been cross country 6 times already with my family. We moved back and forth. I also, you know, had some mules in the back of a truck that we took. I forget what it was, you know. So things were wrapped in packages with like things in it, you know.
Things. Don't worry about it. Things.
A lot of trips like that.
Things. All you got. It's all you got to know.
Don't worry about it. Things.
Please, honey, will you drive through Arizona? Because every time I drive through Arizona, I have been stopped. So she said, okay. She's 7 months pregnant. All right. So she gets behind the car, and sure enough, whoa! It pulled over. Now she's driving, and he comes up to my side of the window, and I roll down the window, and he looks in, and she goes, "You know how fast you were going?" And I said, "You know." She just started talking, and I just looked at her and said, "Not doing this." And so he starts to write her a ticket, and he comes back to my side of the car, got a clipboard with the ticket in it, and he passes it from me through my side to her.
Interesting.
So I start rolling up the window, looking at her. And I get his arm caught in the window.
Oh.
Bill knows my name, right? He goes, "Bill, the window." Oh, shit. You know, and I start laughing because it's so funny. And I start putting out the window. I'm so sorry. He said, "I'm really simple. I'm sorry." She goes, "Get out of the car, Bill." Now I'm out of the car. And he gets me in the back. He pats me down. I said, listen, I'm an actor. I was, we were driving. Now I'm trying to get out of the ticket. Out of jail. Listen up. I got knee pads in the trunk. Anything. I said, I'm an actor. And he leans down and he goes, are you acting now, Bill? So thank God he let us go.
Did you get the ticket?
Oh yeah. We had $150 ticket.
That's when you're taking. You thank him for it.
I had a friend of mine that had a right-hand drive Bentley, and this is back in the 60s, the late 60s. And that was beautiful. It was a beautiful silver gray Bentley. And we were driving along, and all of a sudden the cop pulls over and comes up to me and goes, license and registration. So I go, okay. So I give my license and registration. He goes, you know how fast you were going? I go, no idea. So he goes, you were doing 50 and a 40. He writes a ticket and he hands it to me. And I go, I'm not even driving. And he looks over and he goes, oh, shit. And he strips up the ticket, gets in his car and drives away.
That's hilarious.
It was also, Independence Day was an epic film. It was a global massive hit.
Yeah, but that was an improvisation, that wasn't in the script. I asked for Cigar. To look at something, and I had the cigar as a character. Then I put the drop in. Well, later to come out, find out we had people on the film that were technical advisors say, a lot of times when pilots go off on missions, they don't light the cigar until they come back.
Mm.
Oh.
So they started. In the other scene that I have, I'm giving them a briefing, and they started the scene with a box of cigars, or passing out the cigars to the pilots. So that
was the whole Will Smith,
Oh,
Jeff
wow.
Goldblum thing, not until the fat lady sings, Yeah.
But you would think that every July 4th I would watch Independence Day, but I don't. The movie that I choose to watch is Air Force One, which to me is talk about fun. And of course, you're prominent in that film too. And didn't you improvise a line there, which is, to me, it's legendary.
Yeah, we'll get the president's baseball glove back and play catch with this guy's balls.
You gotta have some sack to improvise these things on. I mean, I've done it once or twice on a TV show, but man, you must have some balls to just improvise stuff like that.
Here's the story. Wolfgang Peterson, who directed the film, says we have a little gap here. We need a little improvisation, to move the camera.
Right.
So nobody was saying anything. So I said, well, I looked at Glenn and I said, we play catch with this guy's balls, to see how Glenn just roared. She loved it. She was just so great.
I've never even heard a phrase like that. That's hilarious.
It is hilarious, man. It's and so I watch that. Every 4th of July I watch it.
You gotta wait for it.
What was that? Yeah, I do. I think the reason I do it is because you know what I really think it is? Not only that it's the president's plane, Harrison Ford, it's that music. It sounds like, that's that great score. It just makes me, want to go out and defend America.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Great.
Who's stopping you?
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, Gary Oldman, he had a wonderful improv that wasn't in the script. I don't know if he came up with it. It sounds like he would have. But during the film, he asks the vice president. He goes, "That's very nice blouse you have on, the vice president." He said, So there's the tension of the moment, and things are really getting tense. and there was a quiet in the room.
Right.
He was talking to him over the intercom.
Oh, really?
All listening. And he goes, "How's your blouse now, madam?"
But he really did that. It was really Gary over the intercom who did that. It wasn't just like an AD doing it.
He was there on the set. I never got a chance to meet him, but he was there, doing his.
He's a tremendous actor.
He is. A lot of people don't realize that a lot of times when you're talking on the phone or something in a movie or a TV show, it's some AD going, "Yeah, so how's that Welsh now?" That's what you usually get.
He's an authentic guy, Wolfgang. He's got a great sense of humor and he's got a great sense of drama. Das Boot. Come on.
Yeah.
Usually tend to be kind of serious if your name is Wolfgang.
Yeah. I still love that film, and so we're kind of running out of time, but I know you wanted to promote something that you have going on too.
Well, we could run the crawl like sometime, like you said. Craig.
Oh, it's running.
I just want to do a shout out to an organization that I got involved with Dennis Haysbert many years ago. It's called PoliceAwaken.org. And it's police with a C instead of an S. Right. And it was an initiative about bringing people together to talk about racism, poverty, moving, a global initiative through the game of golf. And golf is everywhere, including the Ukraine. Mm-hmm. And coming up in March, they're going to have an hour of prayer for the Ukrainians and the Ukraines. But along with that, there will be a golf competition, and all of the proceeds will go to helping Ukrainian refugees in Poland and in
Hungary and Moldova, they're all over there.
Wherever they may go. So I'll tell you more about the details, but we have a celebrity flight, and then they have other flights for civilians, and we try to get people that are involved in the industries all over the world, because golf is a rich man's game sometimes, and we can get these people to come and have these global roundtables. And you never know when you're going to change somebody's mind or create empathy in a bad situation.
Yeah.
It's a way to bring people together, right?
That's right. Yeah. All over the world through the game of golf. I mean, awesome. There's nothing, there's some good things about the game rather than what George Carlin might say.
Yes,
hey, and on the way outside, chance that you can get close enough to Putin with a golf club, just take him out.
Yeah. Bill, I got to tell you, man, there's just not enough time in an hour to go over everything that you've done, and I really appreciate you being here, man. But I want to ask one quick thing. What's your view on
I do whitey tighties.
You do what?
We knew that.
What about the Mets? You think we're going to have a season this year or what? What do you think?
Yes. Or I want to show you my prized possession.
Yeah, Bill and I are huge Met fans. So
I was there. Game 6.
Oh, you got time with both of them, by Bill Buckner and Mookie Wilson.
Oh, wow.
Were you the referee there?
Wait, hold it up.
In the film. Not going to have a lot of Ukrainian parts when, it's going to be over soon.
He was playing catch with Bill Buckner's balls.
Yeah. Hey. Putin's balls.
There you go. Bill, thank you so much for being on our show. I appreciate it. You're a great friend. Can I just say one thing?
Oh,
go ahead.
I just want to compliment him.
Jan wants to flirt. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to flirt. No, you have so much charisma, and your face changes, and you do these characters. I see how the talent that you have to be a great actor. You just
thanks a lot.
I know, and it's like, that's when I had to do a self tape yesterday, and so when you do those self tapes, it's just a matter of being really still and just connecting. And I just see that just right here in our little in our chat.
Stillness is
Stillness.
Just do what I do, Jan. Just tell them, listen, you're going to hire me. Otherwise, I'm going to come see you in person.
Yeah, and let's do the bowls. Everyone's talking about bowls. I'm going to bust your bowls.
Bust your bullshit.
And the problem with the most comedians are we're afraid of the silence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Less is more.
But hey, look at all the comics that when they stop. I tried to do this is another thing. I tried to do stand up a couple of years ago, and that was,
I was going to ask you if you ever did stand up.
Well, I would love to, but I got to come up with an act. I didn't have an act.
There you go.
Well,
that helps.
You can do that.
I could have talked about my life and been funny.
Yeah.
But I was. Anyway.
No.
You all are funny, and I love you all, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bill.
Thank you so much, my friend.
It was great, Bill. Thank you.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Great show. Thank you.
Go hug somebody. And this.
Right.
Oh, yes.
Racism.
Racism.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
All right.
Wow.
Bill Smitrovich, everybody. Bill Smitrovich.
Wow.
That was great.
What a great show.
It was.
So, listen, you can catch us on www.thebBBRadio.com. And this is John Ferrantino. I hope you had a great time watching our show.
And what's your name?
My name's Joe Silky, and no one asked what we did this week, and I actually had something I did, but I'll save it for next week.
Hey, I'm Jan Karam, and that was a lot of fun. See you guys next time.
Mike Brief. All right, man. Racism. Yes.
Yes. And I'm the Beaver. Thank you so much for being here.
You're the opposite of the Beaver.
Well, you had to go there.
All right. Take us out.
See you next time, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Ha 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 ha!